don't, but I'm sure it exists.
Anything that exists now, right?
All right. Have you listened to our show before?
Yeah.
All right. So
first two.
Right. So you know
cool.
that how we start every show off is you pick out your favorite Nickelback song.
Right.
That's how we weed out who's like really listened to us.
Well, here's one of the things. I couldn't name one, but when I hear it, I know it sucks.
Well, we are going to talk about your music a little bit later on in this, but let's go ahead and get started, boys. Mo, Larry, Shemp, so nice to see you.
Likewise.
Yeah, you guys just don't ever stop. You just always are on the road, aren't you, John?
Rolling Stones, Gad No Moss.
So, John, what have you been up to since we talked last?
So last weekend we made a quick trip out to San Francisco to the Bay Area. My wife wanted to get out there for a couple reasons, but one of them would be harvest season at the wineries, which she has a membership at a few of those. So San Francisco is one of my favorite places, and you can check a couple boxes. You can spend a night in the city, hitting some amazing dive bars in San Francisco, and then the next day go to wine country and drink some world-class Cabernets. So we were able to kind of hit both ends of the spectrum.
I assume that the reason she likes harvest season specifically is so you guys can roll your pants up to your knees and step on the...
You've seen I Love Lucy, right? It was pretty much like that all day Saturday. Yeah.
So what have you been up to, Brad?
I kept it local. I was actually in Iowa City this weekend and did a annual memorial ride for a friend of mine I went to college with called the Lude Ride. His name is Mark Liebeck, and he left us too soon, and he was a big cyclist, so we get his family together and friends of his, and we do a little dive bar bike ride around Iowa City. He worked at some of our favorite local establishments, some that are with us, some that are not.
Right.
And so we rode bikes and hit a few pubs.
So the Lude Ride. I saw you actually have a T-shirt, Tiger Hawk with the word Lude on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, I did nothing again. I had football with my boys, but I do need to give a shout out to Jay and Casey Strunk, who took me to the High Life Lounge in Des Moines, and they plied me with Tang bombs. So the High Life has 5 different Tang bombs.
All right.
Yeah, they're not all
5.
Tried 3 of the 5.
All right.
There you go.
Well,
It was like
effort.
Right.
How
We still
were
had to
they?
drive back to Iowa City and like 11:30 at night. And also, a listener writes in, Bob Manolino wanted to know, during your trip to the Czech Republic, when you guys shared a bed, Bob wanted to know, did you go pole to pole or hole to hole, or because it was the Eastern Bloc, is this kind of laissez-faire?
well, I think as we discussed on the pod, Brad goes pole to sky every night.
Exactly.
So I just align my compass the opposite direction as best I can.
What kind of listeners are we getting here?
He wants to know if he wants to take you camping or not.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so as you can tell by the background noise, we are on a field trip today. We have crawled out of the basement dungeon, and we are broadcasting live from Club 76. This is our favorite haunt. This Club 76 has showed up many times in our podcast about the things they do really good, and it's also showed up many times on is this a dive bar or not?
Yeah.
And we hope we get to the bottom of it, because we have the man, Jeremy Freeks, who is, we'll find out exactly what Jeremy does here, but he is a big part of making this place so special. I've talked to 4 people tonight and heard 3 different conversations about how awesome this place is now, how active the music scene is now, how great the beer is now, the food selection. Everything is, I think, all been attributed to Jeremy's work. So, Jeremy, welcome to the podcast, man.
And thanks for having me. It's great to have you.
So, what exactly do you do here at Club 76?
Well, in my official role, I guess I have 2 official roles. There's the commander of the American Legion, which the Legion, this is American Legion bars, so that's the veteran side of this bar. And then there's also an incorporated side. Obviously, you can't run a non-profit bar, even though this was a very much non-profit bar for a long time. So I actually hold the president of the bar board position too. So that's kind of just the voting end of how we run the bar, and then the Legion's business is just kind of separate that. Although we keep the Legion informed on what's going on with the bar. So I mean, most Legions are run the very same way.
What branch of service were you in?
Army is the only branch.
Army's the only branch. All you have to do is pay attention to his. Well, you're sitting here with the Navy man. I'd like to see the Army-Navy game between you two because you're the only people that know that game goes on. You're both posting heavily during that game.
Yeah, and up here, and actually the only sign we have that I purchased is there above the door over there. It's the one that says "Go Army, Beat Navy."
Right.
And I told the Navy guys, I said, whenever you guys beat us in football, I will put up that sign, but you're paying for it because I paid for that one.
Right. All right.
They said they would do it, but those old guys are cheap, and we'll see if they ever get around to buying the sign.
They'll put up, yeah.
I'm not buying it.
So, where did you grow up?
Clarksville, Iowa.
Kind of Clarksville's 5,000 people, 6,000 people?
No, 1,200 maybe. I think
Really?
and they still have a high school, but it's mostly old people in town. I think it's like 16 to 20 kids a class.
You were involved in sports. I mean, you were athletic, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, it was four sports. Football, wrestling, track, and baseball.
All hands on deck when you're in a small school?
Yeah, my senior year, we were ranked number one. It's 11-man wheel, but we only had 21 kids on the team. That was 9th through 12th. Right. But, we ended up getting beat out, but we were ranked number one that year for about 4 or 5 weeks.
You're a pretty good wrestler.
We were great wrestler. I was a pretty solid wrestler. We won the state championship a bunch of times when I was there. So,
How do you feel the state of wrestling is in Iowa compared to like the 80s? How is it now to compare to then?
I think there's still great wrestling in Iowa. I think maybe the feel isn't the same. I think everybody wanted to wrestle for Gable at one time, and they knew what the work it took to do that. I don't think kids want to work that hard anymore.
Agreed.
And, I mean, I don't want to put down the Iowa program, but like they wrestle a lot different. We used to be very aggressive on the mat. Now, they'll go like 3 minutes in the first period and not even take a shot. It's crazy.
Right.
I grew up where like you wanted to stick somebody's nose into their left ear, man.
Right.
You just like you went out there just to like ruin people's life.
Right. I agree totally with you. And it's just not Iowa. It seems like it's everywhere. I mean, Penn State has some aggressive wrestlers. There are some programs, but I agree with you. It's just kind of a...
I don't think the state of Iowa is producing the medal stand people or the Olympic stand people the way we used to. I mean,
Right.
Obviously, you look back in our program, a lot of those guys were Iowa born and bred. I mean,
Right.
Royce Elgers, Prairie team over there with Zielinski's, Barry Davis. I mean, you could just rattle off. I mean, the Brands brothers. So locally, Cedar Rapids produced a ton. Iowa City produced a ton of great wrestlers all over the state. It's just they're great wrestlers, but I don't know if they are. We're producing that many top 5 wrestlers anymore in the country.
25 years from now, is there college wrestling?
Oh, I think so. I think so. I mean, I think wrestling is still a big time sport, and obviously, we gotta look outside of Iowa to bring talent in. I mean, it's no different because it was kind of funny. I ran into was at Hy-Vee to get some stuff for our pasta night tomorrow, and ran into 3 field hockey girls, and obviously there's no field hockey here, so everybody that's on that team, and they're great every year. And they're actually, I was surprised that like they're actually pretty small kids. I was thinking that these guys are field hockey's a pretty tough sport,
right?
But yeah, they were all pretty small girls,
right? Yeah, I think high school sports are up against a lot of stuff. I mean, I think that getting kids out for 4 sports is tougher now. I think that there's a lot of kids that are just out for wrestling, and they're just out for baseball.
That's the thing is all this travel club, and they expect you to dedicate your entire year to one sport. And I don't think it's good for any sport, nor do I think it's good for what a kid wants to do in high school.
So you're with the Legion post. I mean, what's the status of American Legion baseball right now in Iowa?
It's poor. It's poor. We had a team for like 1 year from North Liberty, and we had 2 teams, and then the next year they just couldn't get. Here's the problem. We used to have a Johnson County team that we sponsored for a very long time because we had to draw from all of Johnson County. The baseball coaches don't want you playing American Legion baseball before the season. But if you go up to like Cascade, Dyersville, I mean, it's still big up there. I think like Sioux City area, I think there's still a lot of Legion baseball up there. But I think it's kind of the push. It's actually, it's very similar to the tough time that as a rugby player trying to get rugby started in high school. The pushback from
Any coaches, yeah,
was difficult. Now, rugby in high school is huge.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting the impact that these club sports have had on it. And it's interesting how coaches have got their kids to stay in one sport. I mean, you think of all the kids that are in.
I hear the song.
So, all right. So let's go ahead and Clarksville, Iowa. Did they have a great dive bar?
Oh, they have one of the oldest existing bars in the United States. As in fact, Pete and Shorty's, owned by which were the Zindrum brothers. They took it over from their dad because it was Zindrum's Tavern, then it became Pete and Shorty's, and then actually Hooters bought the rights to the name, and Hooters started a franchise of Pete and Shorty's. Actually, the very first Pete and Shorty's sits in the same parking lot as the very first Hooters in Clearwater. Yeah.
So the Hooters started in Iowa.
Yeah, they're all from where I grew up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there were enough girls that would be willing to put on short shorts and a tight T-shirt up there?
No, it was just one of those things. These guys that grew up in Iowa, in my area, that started Hooters, just knew that Pete and Shorty's was this really cool place, and that's where they'd come back. And the Hooters girls have been there a bunch of times, so they decided, like, we're going to start this Iowa bar, which had a lot of stuff from Pete and Shorty's menu, and the same thing, hot beef sandwiches, tenderloins, fried egg sandwich, things like that.
So, tell me what you think constitutes a dive bar in your head. Like, what's a good dive bar?
I guess growing up in a well-known dive bar that's been open since I think the day after you could start drinking United States again. It was always and actually it's still got one of the rule in Iowa for a very long time, and the bar still exists, is you couldn't sit at the bar, so you had to make bars standing height. So it's still a standing height bar, so it's been in place, and I guess it's got a kind of smell of grease and just probably no ferns, and just gotta have just old, still kind of have some of that smoke remnants on the fixtures, and just those you gotta have like some old Miller High Life pheasant mirror on the wall and those type of things.
Tell me the 3 beers that are on tap at a dive bar.
On the tap of the dive bar? Now, I think, that's kind of changed a lot. Back in when I grew up, they had 2 tap handles, and they both poured Budweiser. The whole town drank Budweiser. Now, when I go in that bar, I know there's 2 tap handles, and one of them is Busch Light, and the other one might be Miller Lite or Coors Light. One thing, obviously Busch Light has taken over the state of Iowa. Mixed drinks. Oh yeah, obviously mixed drinks. At Pete and Shorty's, where I grew up and spent a lot of time and met my wife at Mum's. The mixed drinks were cheap and they burned them really good.
And so, where'd you meet Dawn, your wife, at?
At Mum's Saloon in Iowa City.
Oh, in Iowa City. Oh, yeah, Mum's.
Mum's, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Cedar Falls, but yeah. So Mum's is an absolute classic.
Oh, yeah, that was... I mean, back in those days, there was obviously still some great dive bars. Mum's there, and you wander up the road to Mike's Tap, and...
That's all right. I think it's now called the Club Car, but back in the day it was Mike's Tap right there by the train tracks. And my friend Lude, who we had the memorial ride for, that was a place that he worked, and classic place. Yeah, classic dive.
I almost forget about the Club Car, and I think it's still open. It's been open forever and ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
yeah.
It's still a great bar.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, Susie runs that place, and Susie owns some great bars. So I mean, props to her. I mean, Mike's Tap did not go downhill with her taking that over by any means.
If somebody built on the Mum's site again and called it Mum's, do you think it would still have the same?
I don't know, man. I mean, it was so filthy dirty inside. It was that is the epitome of, it had this big crack in the floor that looked, I mean, it was just like uneven floor, and, it'd be great if it was, that had, I suppose, what you could call a lot of character.
Yeah.
And, I think the people that were regulars there probably, a lot of those guys are dead now. It's sad every time one of the old Mum's regulars pass away, and I actually saw, when I was in Hy-Vee again today, I saw one of the old Mum's regulars said hey to him, and these guys are all in their 70s now. A lot of the guys that hung out there hang out at Eagles Lodge now.
Yeah, that's a place we got to check out.
Right.
I don't know the Eagles very well.
Well, there's the Eagles and the Elks. The Eagles have kind of like the good old-fashioned dive bars, and I think the Elks kind of have...
I think Elks is kind of a more upscale. That's why they have a golf course.
Yeah.
Right. They're both kind of like philanthropic type of people, but I think the Eagles kind of focus on... I don't know. They don't have a golf course. Let's
More
put
the
it that
drinking
way.
culture than active endeavors.
Right.
So what do you classify Club 76, Jeremy? In your opinion?
It's still a dive bar. Yeah. This is 100% a dive bar. And it'll always be a dive bar. Or just one of those things that I like to drink. I like to drink beers that aren't always just lawnmower beers. And so, honestly, we were just broke and not paying bills. And I wanted to drink good beer, so I was like, man, we gotta roll with the flow, roll with the times, and then I put 10 beers on tap, and then added some more. So it was literally just to try to push traffic through the door and to satisfy my own needs.
Which makes 76 like distinctive among legions, right? Like there's not a lot of places you can go at the kind of beers you have on tap.
No.
There's no other place.
No, not American Legions or Amets or VFWs. I mean, we're pretty unique in the United States. There are some other really great places that I kind of follow that do really good food and have cool stuff. Ours is just obviously a much different American Legion looking wise, and I mean between what we do with music and the beer here, it's definitely unique, especially for Iowa. Wherever I traveled when after I retired a year ago, was on the road for a very long time in the pipe trades, and I would hit every veterans organization that I could just to support them, and they're failing. They're failing, and a lot of the guys like laughed around the area, like when we started making changes here, and now they're just like, what do we do to drive customers? I'm like, do what I did, and you're gonna have to do that, and you might have missed your opportunity. When I moved down to Iowa City and I started playing rugby, I remember the very first, and listen, I was a Budweiser drinker. I mean, like a diehard Budweiser drinker. Obviously, you drank whatever you could in high school that you could afford. But when you had money, I always drank Budweiser. The very first night after I started playing rugby here back in like '92, we went down to the mill, and I had my first Guinness, and I couldn't even and honestly now Guinness doesn't even I mean it's
Yeah.
and then started going over to the sanctuary, and they just had these huge lists, and it just opened up my eyes. And then we'd go into Dirty John's, and I'd start getting into sort of like, oh, I've never had this, and I would just try all these things to see what I liked. And so it was one of those things, like even like at Sanctuary, it was just like, this was 100 beers that they have. I'm just like, oh, I haven't had that one. And then as we started kind of traveling around the country with rugby and vacation, started like, you hit a few breweries and
sampling.
And it just kind of opened up a new world to me.
One of the biggest things, the biggest imprints you've made on Eastern Iowa is your Sour and Oyster Fest that you do every year. Can you talk a little bit about that and what the funds are used for?
Well, the funds is used for so many different things. I mean, like we have a long list of money that we kick back into the community in many different ways. Whether we're sponsoring. Just for instance, we are the got to be one of the largest sponsors of the back to school program, where we do a ton for Toys for Tots, and then there's always something that somebody needs. We kick a lot of money into the arts, and if somebody's doing a veterans drive or whatever it is, we are constantly trying to find ways to put money back into the community through scouting. When we had American Legion baseball, we always want to do things like that. We give money and giveaways to a lot of different scholarship programs and stuff like that. So
that event is obviously one of the real treasures in the area. A couple questions about it. One, you get your hands on some very limited release stouts. How do you source those? How soon every year do you start the process of collecting those beers? And then what is the most exotic thing you've either had your hands on or you currently have hiding in your cooler right now?
Our beers, we tap stuff every year that maybe we get that year. But we sit on a lot of stuff, which I like to cellar for a number of years. And be honest with you, I started just like trying to befriend the representatives of these beer brands, the brand and ambassador, or like know the brewers, or like we were traveling someplace, I'd stop by the brewery, and it was one of those things that what I was trying to sell them on, just like, all right, but if you're going to send like one keg to a state, they're going to bitch about where it goes, and if you send it to American Legion, that maybe they won't bitch that it's and so I just got to know a lot of those people, and it took a lot of work, and honestly it was several years before I was able to score a lot of the really sought after stuff, and now it's a lot easier. And be honest with you, when a lot of the guys who are the brewers or own the companies come to visit this area, they come to Club 76. They always do, because they're just. And I told them, I'm just like, hey man, like you can have your beer on tap at a place that has like 60 beers. It's going to get lost there. But you come here, and if you're loyal to us, I'll be loyal to you, and we're going to do these things to fund our projects at the American Legion. And if you help us out, man, that it would be great. And we're going to have this cool event, and we're going to feature your stuff. And I said, you're going to like get your beer in front of people that you want to convert, because those people that go to those places that are selling 60 beers, they're already converted. They're already converted. And, I basically said, like, hey, man, like, if you want to steal the next 10% from the big guys, you got to get into the veterans clubs. You got to get into the Eagles. You got to get into Moose clubs. I'm like, that's how you're going to get your beer in front of the people who are that are buying Busch Light. But I would tell, like, we have a ton of people who drink light beer. That drink off our tap menu. I'm even the same way. Like, I'll drink off the tap menu, and then I was a long time High Life drinker, and now I drink PBR only for one reason. I was a diehard Miller High Life fan, and they gave a lot of money to the 2025 project. So I said High Life can stick it for a while.
Great.
Become a blue ribbon man.
I'm a blue ribbon man now, and actually, I converted a lot of people to PBR here for the same reason, who kind of bleed the same way I bleed.
So, what is the rarest breed you've ever gotten your hands on? Would you say, like, your whole, like, wow, I can't believe I got a keg of this?
I think some of the stuff like, we had a few super rare bourbon counties, which were always nice. Dogfish Head barrel aged Palo Santo and that one, and Worldwide Stout, which I'm a huge Dogfish. So the barrel aged Palo Santo was pretty awesome. A ton of great stuff from Green Flash. Had a great relationship. Actually, the people that own that company came here and like bought shirts, and it's too bad that place. So there was a time that they decided to clean out their stock, and they sent X amount to 7G, and they said, like, there's this many cases of bottles, this many kegs. Club 76 gets first choice on any of it. They want to buy it all, they can buy it all. We bought it all.
You normally on Oyster Fest have a keg of Imperial Maple Stout. At least you have had last several years. It's always a fantastic way to start the morning.
Yeah.
And then at 12%, about noon, we're all kind of wondering why we started the morning at 12%. Because we're leaning against your wall out there.
I have that again this year. They're Fair State, their 10th anniversary is Maple Barrel aged one. So we're saving that for that. And
look forward to that.
I know there's still a couple CBSs down there.
Well, we'll all be in the doghouse by 2 p.m. It sounds like another year. All right, so you have all these exotic beers, fantastic beers. What is the number one selling beer at Club 76 on an annual basis, would you say?
Oh, it's Busch Light.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You still retain your dive bar card in good standing.
Listen, Busch Light will keep the lights on. It doesn't pay the bills, but it keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
So before we move off the Oyster Stout topic, a lot of people that I introduce to the event or tell them about the event, the first question that comes up is always, why oysters in Iowa? So my question for you is, 1, how did that come about? Why oysters in Iowa? 2, how do you execute it?
Oysters, because I love oysters, and it actually goes back to Dirty John's. I'm a big, went through the Cicerone program, and like I'm a big wine guy too, and I love to pair foods and stuff like that. And I discovered this oyster stout from Ireland, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is just fantastic, because you could just taste, you could just taste the ocean, and it balanced very well with that. And all of a sudden I realized, just like, I love oysters. Just like, what, maybe I'm going to do this festival, and all of a sudden I realized that, like, stouts work really great with them. So the first year was just stouts, and then as I kind of like grew with being a foodie, realized that, actually sours pair very well with oysters too. So I think maybe, I don't know if it was the 3rd or the 4th year when I started bringing in the sours, and we've had a lot of super exotic sours too. So that's always great. So it was just one of those things, is that I think just having one of those bottles of beer from Dirty John's that made me realize that, like, oysters and
great pairing.
It's fantastic.
Pairing, yeah.
So how did you get connected with a supplier, and how does that process work every year?
So, well, this is just trial and error. This is just one of those things. So the first year, I had Hy-Vee ordered me a bunch in, and actually it was just, and we didn't know, it was just me and my buddy Jake, who used to be the commander here, and we were like, we had 500 oysters, and we had like stubby nose screwdrivers, and like we were like bleeding, and they actually weren't that very good oysters. They really weren't. And then the next year I went to Midwest Seafood out of Davenport, and I knew a guy over there I played rugby with. He played for Bremer County, and they had a decent selection, and but I had traveled to the coast, and when you go to the coast, man, you can get some. My taste for oysters had like grown beyond what they were selling, and so I just started Googling. Come to find out, Fortune Seafood out of Chicago, just like they, and I was able to like just. And people's like, "What are you going to do this year?" I'm like, "I don't know until the week before." I'm like, "I don't know what they're gonna like, what's going to be available, what's getting sent in." And just with traveling and trying different oysters, I now have very favorite areas of oysters. And
What are your favorites? Are you an East Coast brine guy, or are you a melon guy on the West?
I am an East Coast brine guy. I really am. I do like the melon flavors of the Washington State. They're great, but I honestly think that, and I think those Japanese farmed ones here in the United States go probably better with the sours than they do with the stouts. I just don't think it, but like, that brininess of East Coast, and there's especially like some places like around like Cape Cod, and like Newfoundland and up like Maine ways, that like the brine of those just hits something great. But I would tell you, I was just out in Virginia, and we went out there for a widespread panic show, and an oyster that I've had here a number of different times, which is the Rappahannock. They had an oyster bar in, it's right on the James River, and that farm company has a restaurant, and I was able to have a couple oysters that I've had here a couple different times, because they're a good price. And then there's another farm that they had that I had never had that oyster from them before, and I really hope to get my hands on it. It was just dynamite. It was actually there was the Old Salt, which actually it's kind of confusing to the name, because the Rappahannock is way more briny than the Old Salt that they have, and then they have another one that was kind of in the middle that just had there was just this earth and funk and brineness to it, and just a great mouthfeel. I was just like, man, they were just mind blowing.
How many pounds of oysters do you order every year for that event?
Well, how many? Well,
or how do you order? Is that is that how you do it?
Yes, it depends. The numbers don't change very much. Obviously, we backed down the numbers from what it used to be on how many people we had come in. But I would say that 60+% still order raw. And that's still the number one seller. So, we're probably doing 4,000, 5,000 oysters.
You go through them the entire day?
We do. And we always try to feed all to staff it. It's obviously all hands on deck. If you work here, you got to work that day. There's no like, I need that day off. Sorry, you sign on here just like, okay, on Oyster Fest you can't miss that day. And then we just try to feed. I mean, we're having like 40, 50 volunteers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tested the longevity of an oyster, and I know you don't provide doggy bags on the day of the event, but one year we left here on bicycles and went to J&A Tap. Somebody had a bag full of oysters from your place. The bag, after the oysters obviously were here all day, then they went to J&A and sat in the parking lot underneath a bicycle for probably another 5 hours while we did karaoke. And then they traversed home, and then there seemed to be confirmation the oysters were consumed the next day. and that person's sitting at the table. So apparently they last longer than I.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of willing to go. You know, we've, I think last year, the next day, I decided to come up and we sold a dozen oysters really cheap, and a bunch of people took them home. And I mean, normally I'll just take some home, and I you know, if you keep them on ice in the refrigerator, you know.
Yeah.
5-7 days, they're going to be perfectly fine. Obviously, the fresher the better, but
Yep. An event like that's never easy to execute. What is the biggest pain of doing that event, and why is it the ticket sale day?
why is it the ticket sale day? It's exactly that. And, you know, and the thing is like, I'm the kind of the brains of ideas, and then I have a wife who manages that thing, and she fucking hates this event because it's so much work on her end, on the logistics side, which I'm just not good at.
I apologize.
It can be. It can be. There has been some hiccups.
Your Facebook traffic on that day is always kind of priceless to watch.
It is, and actually, like, and I've had like my mom cuss me out. I didn't get any tickets. Like, I'm sorry. She's like, well, what can you do? I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy.
Not my department.
No, I'm not. That's not the way this works. Like, get on like everybody else. I'm not going to like be one of those guys just because you know the commander. And I always say, like, come up and volunteer and you'll get some oysters.
Yeah,
and
once
so
you crack that door, then it's not closing it again.
Yeah, like where do you stop?
Draw the line.
And I apologize if you said this. My last question on the event. What does that yield financially for the Legion? Like, rough ballpark.
I think we make somewhere $25,000-$30,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great.
It actually, I mean, and that's kind of why we stopped doing the red, white, and bluegrass. Was a bigger pain in the ass. It really was. That really funds. That allows. I mean, because what we really want to do is, like, if we can give $25,000 or $30,000 away every year to good causes, then that's great. We just, every year keep on doing it. My wife doesn't every year. She's like, this is the last one. I'm like, it's not. I'm like, it's not the last one. And just like, we can't because like I'm out of like good ideas.
Well, there's people that take time off of work the day that the ticket sales go on sale. It's kind of like the old Ticketmaster days.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Yeah, well, I know, and my wife has to like block out time there to make sure, because in reality, while things are going on, we are like moving things around on the ticketing page to accommodate. Like if things start to, we only want to like do X amount. This is because we only want to do X amount of these other dishes. So if that starts to like cutting the stuff, we got to like steal from, like, these are the number of tickets. So now we got to steal from these to but anymore now it's literally 65% raw, and then you got between the other three things, they make up the next 35%.
Yeah, and we've really focused on the oysters, but you have low country boil, you have lobster,
We got the bouillabaisse. So day of tickets, bouillabaisse, low country, grilled oysters for those people. I mean, I love grilled oysters too. I think they're delicious. Obviously, you can do a lot of different things with grilled oysters, and the raw, and then obviously the day of food. I mean, nobody's going to get full on a dozen raw oysters, so we got to do like some day of food, especially if you're like you're hitting some heavy hitter beers that you need a little.
Right. Your mac and cheese is
Oh,
amazing
yeah.
too. I mean, it's made for
that
kings.
is,
So, so I follow you on Facebook. How did you learn how to cook? You and Don really
Food
cook
Network.
or eat well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Seriously.
Man, you make some
it's Food
amazing
Network,
stuff.
and just like I'm just one of those food guys, and then on top of that, like traveling all those years, I'd go to some place and I'd find something I really liked, and I wanted to figure out how it was made.
Mm-hmm.
And as I became a bigger foodie, I was able to taste things in the dish that I was able to figure out what they were.
Pick it out and deconstruct it.
deconstruct
Yeah.
Because here I'll tell you, like, so tomorrow we're doing chicken Marcello for pasta night. In the fall and winter, we every Thursday is the pasta night. We just do a different. And I love Italian, and I love cooking that stuff. And my chicken marsala is based on Brown Bottle's chicken marsala.
So for the listeners, the chicken marsala is going to be served at Club
Tomorrow,
76.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night. That is the bar. That's why we wrestle with whether or not this is a dive bar.
Right.
Because, you're like popcorn, maybe a cheeseburger, maybe some wings, maybe a Tombstone pizza or pub, and then you guys have chicken marsala.
And, we house make our dressings and stuff like that, and it's one of those things. It's just because I like being a foodie, and it's one of those things. If I wanna like come up here, I want to like eat things that I like.
Yeah, I know you're always doing new things. Do you have one signature dish you've done that the crowd demands that you do on a regular cadence?
Actually, I think probably the most popular thing that even though the pasta stuff last year when we started it went over very well. I used to do quite a bit. The problem is it's a price thing now. I used to make Ropa Vieja a few times a year, and people just say, "Why don't you do the Ropa Vieja?" I'm like, because freaking like flank steak is like $17 a pound. I'm like, I can't get it for like $8.99 a pound anymore, and just like they're like, "Oh, I heard people use chuck roast." I'm like, no, I don't. We don't do that. It's the same way. Like it's like we do Chicago dogs here. I'm a Dodger fan, and there's Dodger dogs, but like the best hot dog in the United States is the Chicago dog, and we import every single thing that goes on that, minus obviously like the onions and the tomatoes, but that's all Vienna products. That's the best Vienna beef hot dog, and then the Rosen poppy seed bun. So that we import all that in to do Chicago dogs the way you should do it.
So you have seasons here. I mean, you have snowmobilers here, you have bicyclists here, you have motorcyclists here. You're right off the lake. Does the menu change for you as the seasons change for the...
Well, yes. When, like this year, so in the colder months, so I brought in pasta last year. And we do some heartier dishes in the winter. That's always kind of been for like the food specials. Our daily menu doesn't change throughout the year. We have a one-sided menu, and we just try to do that stuff as good as we can and at a very affordable price. But pasta is one of those things that I think people like the stews and heavy dishes like that in the colder months. So we try to do some lighter fare in the summer for sure. I mean, because people want to, and even the beer menu is like that. It's when are you gonna put some stouts on? I'm like, well, it's fucking 100 degrees out right now. Who wants a freaking stout?
Right.
I think part of your secret sauce is your staff. You have people that have been here a long time. And when somebody does move on, go somewhere else, I don't know how you do it, but you find other good people.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's difficult, and I'm going to say that we do turn over staff. There's some staff that just aren't fit for.
It's a bar.
It's
I mean,
a bar.
It turns over.
It's just what it is. I think it's a very great place for people to work if they're looking for this type of atmosphere. I mean, obviously, this atmosphere is a lot different than just about anything,
Going downtown.
Dealing
with students.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Not only, I mean, it's different. It looks different. Obviously, it's much more affordable. It's just, if you like $9 beers, there's lots of places in North Liberty you can get those.
Yep.
But I will say this: a lot of the people that you see out here was downtown 20 years ago. It's just the hair's a little bit grayer, and
oh yeah, for sure. We're all getting openly gray.
All right. Anything else, boys?
I don't think so.
All right. So what we didn't talk about is the fact that Jeremy and Don are world-class foragers. If you follow their Facebooks, they're always finding great stuff in the woods just around their house, especially mushrooms and ginger and things like that they incorporate into their dinner table. They are really forest-to-table type of cooks. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give each one of you a pen and paper. We're going to do a speed round. I have 6 fungi, and you can just do 1 through 6. It's not on there, Brad. You can look as hard as you want to look. I only have it on mine.
Right on.
So I'll do 1 through 6, and you're going to say real or not. So you're going to write it down. So I'm going to give you names of fungi that Jeremy and Don may or may not have used. So the first fungi is the bishop's ruff. Is the bishop's ruff real or not? The bishop's ruff. Number 2, hot lips disco. Is hot lips disco a fungi or not? Number 3, the stinkhorn. Is the stinkhorn real or not? Number 4, the hanky hand. Is the hanky hand a real fungi? Number 5, the hairy curtain crust. The hairy curtain crust. And last but not least, number 6, the common pink nipplets. The common pink nipplets. All right, so we'll start every question with Jeremy because he is the foremost authority on what will make you throw up or not. Jeremy, is the bishop's ruff real or not?
I got it as real.
You got it as real, Brad?
I said real as well.
Likewise.
The bishop's ruff is made up. I made that up in my own head.
I
Yeah.
crossed it out. Actually,
All right.
All right, hot lips disco. Jeremy? Brad?
I said it's real.
I did too. I said real.
Hot Lips Disco was named by a 12-year-old Rachel Blackman in a 2011 contest ran by the Natural England and the Guardian newspaper. They look a bit like lips. I thought the name suited them really well because they're bright orange in color. You can find Hot Lips Disco puckered amongst clumps of haircap moss. So Hot Lips Disco is a real fungus.
All right.
The stinkhorn. Jeremy?
It's real. It's actually the only one that I knew. It's real. It's actually the only one that I knew
Right.
for sure.
I was real on Stinkhorn.
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Okay, the stinkhorn, its name is Phallus impecadus, or impecadusk. Everything about this mushroom looks and sounds exactly like you would imagine. It's a phallic-appearing mushroom that smells unmistakably like rotting flesh. It attracts flies and has a dark green slime on it, which the flies get on their legs, and that is how the spores are traveled. The hanky hand,
I said real.
Real.
I made that one up. The hanky hand is made up.
All right.
The next, hairy curtain crust. The hairy curtain crust. All right. What if I were to tell you it's also known as the turkey tail?
Oh,
Then it's
That's
real.
real.
that is then
Sternum haristum, the breakdown of scientific name, you'll find sternum means tough, very apt, and crust is fungus. The haristerum is the hairy crust. Yeah. And the last but not least, the common pink nipplets. The common pink nipplets.
I also have made up.
Made up?
I said real on that one.
I said real too.
It is made up.
All right.
All right. Well,
Good
thank you
chance.
for playing. All right, boys.
Of
got
all those real ones, have you eaten any of the real ones? Tried to eat any of the real ones? The Bishop's Muff or anything?
Almost none of those were in our environment. Yeah.
No. The stinkhorn you can find around here. Turkey tail you can find around here. Turkey tail is really easy to find around here. Actually, it's growing really well right now. Although as we get a little colder, so turkey tail you can. And turkey tail is not something that I would put into a dish, but it's really great for making teas.
All right.
I like it.
Got it out of your system, boys?
It's been great.
I think
yeah.
so. Thank
Jeremy,
you so
thanks
much.
for
It was
having us,
amazing.
Jeremy.
Appreciate it.
When we put down our list of everybody we wanted to talk to, you were on all 3 of our lists.
Yeah.
So we had to have you. You're first person. Thanks for having us here, man. This is a great place. Keep doing what you're doing. For everybody listening, you can find us on Facebook in the groups of the Deep Dive Pod. You can start to find us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. If you can't find us, then you can reach out at deepdivepod2025@gmail.com, and we will direct you. So, hey, thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you here soon.
Thanks much.
Thanks, guys.